Hello there. How are you all doing? Oh, thank you so much for joining, Smilky. It's really kind of you. Yeah, and thank you again for hello. Yeah, and thank you again for the what's his name for the shout out earlier today. It was extremely kind. I finally have some clips sorted. I finally learned how to actually do that, so that should all be sorted. And also thank you very much to Mr. Vokey Man, who has also followed as well. It's all really appreciated, and it's been incredibly that's all right. Thank you very much. It's been incredibly fun just watching you stream so far, getting involved, chatting with everyone as we've gone through it. It's all been really quite fun. I hope you've been having a good evening so far. Yeah, it's I've kind of been building up towards this all day as well, which has been quite fun. What's his name? Been getting a few bits and pieces ready, which has been quite nice. As you can see, I finally have some kind of overlays sorted as well, and oh, that's all right. Oh, it's been so nice having you. I haven't had anyone outside of people I already know from Twitch watching, so it's absolutely fun. And in a way, it's kind of ironic because I actually think I found you through your Twitter, just as I can't remember what it was. Just going through random bits of art. Yeah, just from there. So it's no problem. It's been really fun watching, and the little community, but the community you've got is also just really friendly and welcoming. So it's been really lovely. Yeah, I can't quite remember exactly. I'll have to dig back and find exactly which post it was, but it's been quite nice so far. And what I'm doing today is I'm going to be doing, so kind of I've been a bit inconsistent, a bit all over the place with my character, my sleepy heart, so to say, my persona. And so I wanted to do kind of an actual reference sheet for him, since I've not been, I don't know, it kind of goes a bit all over the place. I've just before stream, I've just been doodling a very quick, super duper quick set of thumbnails, just to get an idea of what actual kind of what's his name, kind of layout I'd like to go with. I do not anticipate finishing this whatsoever, so it'll be fun. And yeah, no, that's no problem. I mean, it's yeah, what's his name? Exact same with yours, with your character. You mean just in terms of that kind of stuff? But yeah, it's no worries. I think as well, I like to do stuff like thumbnailies, and I've got some references as well from some of the few bits of art I've done of Sleepy that I actually quite like so far as we've got into it. Also, apologies, I'm probably gonna sound oh, hang on. Yeah, I think I've said what I feel. I draw them every time, no ref sheets either. That's fair enough. I mean, it's always kind of an optional thing, but I guess it's kind of I kind of want to do it, get something sorted. So I've got my own reference. I've got my hexes and colors sorted, and just in case, for gifts and stuff like that. And also, it's fun to just be practicing. It's fun just to be practicing layouts for ref sheets anyway, because it'll be something I'd like to do for others at some point in the future. Obviously first I just need to get back and consistent, and kind of what I wanted to do with this as well is get back into sort of my quote unquote proper actual kind of style, since I feel a lot of what I've done has been a bit out there, been a bit different. I feel like it's been a bit far too, well, yeah, it's been far too long since I've done just some general kind of illustrative furry art. as I've just been going through it. But yeah, are you having and I always appreciate just like anyone who's taking the time out. You having a good evening so far? Oh yeah, how are you finding Smilky? How are you finding your quest so far? Because I know you got that today. I know you're quite excited to try it out. So if you've been yeah, how's the world of VR been treating you so far? Always fun to know. It's I mean, I feel like I'm going to be missing it to an extent. Oh god, that's the wrong layer. I make all these layers and I don't actually use them. But I mean, it's kind of tough because it's like that's fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in Beat Saber, even without sort of. I mean, the main thing with mods is just custom songs on Oculus, because it's generally locked down, unfortunately. Thanks, Mark, for that. So that you can only really sort of like soundtrack songs. But the main thing from that you get from modding is being able to do custom maps, custom songs, that sort of thing as you go through it, which is always quite good. I don't know how many different because I know on PC a lot of the mods you can get kind of like the different visuals, you can get different backgrounds, and some really incredibly wild maps as well as you go through it. But I mean, I did try doing a few maps. It's quite fun, just weird. Honestly, the main sort of thing I was doing was trying to take a couple of Bon Iver songs, if you've heard them, or a couple of remixes, and just turn them into my own maps. And it was fun, but it was just one of those things where it's kind of like, you know, you only have so many hours in the day, and it would just take a lot to get it. And it's not too bad, not too terrible, like getting the mods on and stuff like that. It's not too much of a hassle, but it was just enough that I felt, am I really getting the most out of this? Which was like another factor into it. But yeah, it's most of the Tories. It's most of the Tories, which made me sell my VR. You know, all that. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, there's always a lot of different things, you know, you want to be doing, you want to be making. Because you only have like so much you can get done in a day. You know, especially, yeah, just in general. Everyone just has a certain limit to what they can do in a day. I need to remind myself what my hotkey pencil is P. Oh, I press it twice. Because I'm trying to use the hotkeys a lot more rather than just trying to tap it. Which is quite fun as we go through it. I always draw him being quite embarrassed and quite awkward looking. And probably this is what I'm going to have to do or redo a few times. Maybe not a few times, but at least a couple of different ones. Just to try and make sure that, you know, it all kind of sticks. If this is the definitive look for SleepyHart, then you kind of want it to be right. But it's sketching, it's still early. But like, one of the things I do like to do with sketching is certainly get like the face all right. I'm trying to do a bit more now in terms of like, so not over focusing too much on the face and the head, because then it all turns to turn into, I then end up having to sort of shift things as we go through, and end up sort of redoing like the head, stuff like that. Just trying to get some other bits blocked out at the same time. Just to try and get some level of consistency and scale throughout. Definitely doing the thumbnail has helped. Obviously I don't want to stick to that too religiously on account of it's meant to be something that is super rough. And as well, like, one of the things I always end up doing, thank you very much, I love seeing how people sketch. Yeah, my process is a little bit odd. Bit kind of odd. Oh yeah, as well I need to make sure, probably on one of my, I have far too many monitors in front of me. Thank you. Yeah, it's just whatever kind of works for you. Yeah, so like, well, one thing, thank you very much, Smokey, that's very sweet of you to say. We need to see how this will turn out, obviously, but yeah, like, I mean, I cannot believe I'm actually streaming sketching, because it's always something that I felt like I would be ultra self-conscious to do. And I'm just thinking as well, I probably, so kind of like as I'm going through it, I'm just thinking about how, well, or maybe I might come back to the arm, because what I actually need to do, never stream sketches out of Poker Mondays, 100%, yeah, it is. It's your most vulnerable thing. It's the thing that people judge you the most on, I think, in terms of style, in terms of how you put things together. It's always the scary bit of the process, I think. Yeah, it's like the foundation for the rest of your drawing. And as well, it's the point where everyone has the most criticism about what you're kind of doing, and whether or not it's kind of working. As well, apologies if it sort of sounds a bit odd, kind of muffled. I have my mic behind my tablet, and it's currently on a pile of books. I'm waiting until payday to actually get like a, I don't know, like, yeah, I'm waiting until payday to get a proper microphone stand, so that I can have it like in front, in a decent position that doesn't block actually working. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to get like a headset mic, but I don't. It's just kind of like that point of sort of, you know, start with what you have rather than go out and get lots of equipment for, you know, something that might not quite fully work. And then like with headset mics, because what I've got a really old Samsung condenser mic. I used to do ages ago. I used to do YouTube stuff with it, and it was pretty good for that. But it's I just have the basic stand for it, which is just like a couple of little legs, which isn't most ergonomic for how I now draw and do stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna get like a proper like desk stand or arm or something like that, so I can just have it sorted. But kind of for now, it's a bit too far away, and I need to find my pop shield. It's one of the main things that I'm missing from moving. I really wish I could find it, because I keep on, when I'm going through it, I constantly hear all my kind of plosives far too much. So I'm going through it. So head, middle of chest. I'm just basically I'll just kind of show it. So middle of chest, just about, that's all right. That's kind of, I guess probably I need to make sure that belly button is there. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm actually getting things somewhat proportional. Although the weird thing is, yes, I am completely self-taught. as far as like any of my art stuff went, my main education was GCSE, which put me off for a few years. I managed to convince myself I was going to fail, and it was like the subject I was the most passionate about at the time, which really knocked me for a bit. And I've been kind of picking back up from just like, things like YouTube tutorials, books, that kind of thing. I probably ought to. Well, I'm going to try and find like a life drawing group to join nearby, which I think will help a ton with like anatomy and proportions and such, just as long as it's not too pretentious a group of people. I guess that's the kind of thing that you always worry about with things like life drawing groups, is if the people that you get are going to be extremely judgmental. So kind of on my other monitor, I've got a chart, and I'm just making sure that overall, so I've got like 1 head, 2 head to the chest, to the crotch, and then leggies. It's normally at least 1 or 2, so it's like one head, 2 head, 3 head, 4 head, 1, 2, kind of 3. I mean, we're at a sort of a start, and what I just need to do is just double check this cheeky chappy's face, make sure that's working, because that is the most important bit. I'm not sure what expression I'm going to go with at first, and I think this is at least kind of alright for facial structure. But yeah, it's kind of like normally I just go a bit too far in doing the face, and then I have to really warp and get the rest of the body working. So I'm just trying to make sure that like at least some of the body is still working in all of this. I'll still give him a bit of a none of these kind of why me expressions. Just one of these kind of things that constant sort of extreme self-conscious look, which I tend to inhabit a bit too much. And yes, I am another one of these incredible furry artists who loves to draw everything, at least nearly everything, in 3/4 view. I think it just, I mean, I think with it's balancing getting that kind of expression. Oh god, it's literally the same. It's the same expression accidentally. I'll have to think about exactly what expression I want to put on this cheeky chappy's face for the main thing. I definitely want him smiling for once. I think that's one of the things I never do enough, and I think kind of works for this style of art. Yes, this kind of reference sheety thing. So I'm gonna just do. Yeah, I need to do a bit of a go. This is gonna be cursed. So, and then this is where we start to head straight into the uncanny valley. And with all of this is like mouths and all that kind of stuff. And probably what I need to do is actually get rid of. I have a feeling I've not made this drawing quite big enough. It's a big enough resolution. Oh well, just have to keep going with it, I guess. Once we go through it. I mean, I think this brush is a bit too big. I mean, what I can do after this sort of level of sketching is just to maybe go back and increase our canvas size, or maybe Maybe it's Maybelline. No, I'm not sure. But just I don't know why. I think because I've done it as a 4K canvas. I'm just gonna check my resolution. So it's 134 by 2840. Okie. Oh yeah, and it doesn't join there. Need to make sure that it comes back at least a bit. So oh yeah, I know what I've done. I've made the I've made his snoot drop down a bit too much. As we've gone through it. Right. Yeah, I think that's what happened. It wasn't quite fully right on the angle. Yeah, I don't think it was quite fully right on the angle. So that's why it was looking a bit odd, a bit lopsided as we went through it all. I think that neck is looking alright. It's looking alright. It's looking acceptable. It's all acceptable here. So I like giving as well like a little bit of boofy snoot because deer have sort of specific kind of noses. But that still looks a bit wonk. Oh, yeah, I see. I see what's happened here. I can see what I've done. And as well, we do like to give a good big old snoot, but maybe not quite that big a snoot. And I've also got positioning. Oh no, don't you worry. Thank you. It's very kind. No, don't you worry. Feel free to, just dip in and out as you need. It's always appreciated. Like any sort of, it's always all of it's appreciated. It's very kind to join. So yeah, I think I've just done that nose a bit wonky, a bit wonk. Let's gather up. Oh, snoot. Oh, hang on. Piggy. Big boy. A big boy reference. And I might adjust it because when you don't want to sort of come through and. But yeah, I mean, I've drawn my reference. Well, that's what's. Oof, let's forget about that. Yeah, let us forget about that. Obviously, I'm not going to go too far, too close into it, because I know I have my own design for it. But you have these. Well, they have interesting noses. Not fully unique. mean, like out of the surveys, the most unique noses belong to reindeer, because they have little fuzzy noses, which are absolutely blooming adorable. As we go through it. But yeah, it's just like I like to make sure that the face is working before the rest of it, and that nose is, yeah, I've gone too close to the reference. Because and yeah, kind of at this angle, you'll probably see a bit more of the other nostril coming into play compared to some of the other angles that I traditionally have drawn this cheeky chappy at. Not that it's particularly cheeky chappy. That's for my After Dark account. Ho ho ho. No, I'm kidding. I don't have one yet. I mean, I've no problems with the idea of doing that sort of art. But I do want to keep a bit of a separation. More so in terms of how... Sorry, I've just looked. Been catching up with chat. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying them so far. And yeah, like camels. I mean, it's really fun. One of the fun things about like getting into this sort of like anthro art is getting to notice like the differences between shape styles and anatomy of different animals, and sort of what helps identify them as being themselves, what sort of distinguishes them. So when you look at something, what gives it that look and that feel, what makes it feel right. I mean, there's this whole sort of fun trend of basically everyone just drawing a lot of artists just basically drawing any sort of variation of animal as a different version of a dog with either antlers or different hooves, stuff like that. I think that will probably work for, like, because it's a bit a generic RF sheet. It's sort of like you want, you're doing it in sort of like a neutral sort of stance. As you know, you're trying to get the character in as neutral as possible. Maybe have a bit of life to them, which is nice. I mean, I'm glad I'm not going as... I don't know how I feel about people like, Twitter artists, well, not Twitter artists, but like relative amateurs like myself doing, sort of like full T-posing references, because you normally see sort of like full T-posing, A-posing references in actual production when you have a model sheet, when you're producing like a... like a 2D rig. I mean, I do understand that definitely for if you're doing it in 3D, you need like a proper T-posing reference to do it in 3D, unless you're some kind of modeling god. But I think for most of us, for most people, you definitely do need a good reference to that. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone in particular, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of like, you do it sort of your own way. You don't necessarily have to pretend to be immediately professional all of the time. I'm intentionally as well just creating a couple of points, because I will be doing a specific little bit going into... I need to do a little decision in terms of what geometry I want to do for the antlers themselves. And the other thing I need to do as part of that, at some point, probably not on this. I mean, if I did do more of it on stream, I could do as a follow-up, but actually doing a 3D model of the antlers, because they are incredibly difficult to do at different angles as you sort of go through it. I'm just going to try and grab out. Maybe something like that. Maybe a bit of a bigger. Why not do a bigger chin? As we go through it. As we go through it, and then. Because I like to do. I mean, I want to get much better with like my fur and hair. But I'm just doing this now just to get like a feel of volume. I think it's... I mean, I think for once I've actually managed to do, at least mostly keep it in proportion, so I'm not massively resizing the head in order to get things working for the rest of the body, which is nice. Actually, looking at how much I curve myself, I'm kind of wondering whether I do want a an actual headset microphone, because I go about all over the place when I'm doing my art. It's just one of these things. And yeah, the eyes are a bit massive, but I've kind of done that because it's not going to be like, oh, this will be the like final shape. It's just to kind of get the proportions in. I think one of the things I'm going to do, I mean, it's not they are not come hither eyes, I swear. I'm a good Christian. I'm a good Christian. I just don't want to do like another because I feel like I do this sort of pose a bit too much with all of these sort of things. And I kind of also want to try. Oh yeah. So there is some adjustment I need to do. God. Actually, it's turning out to be somewhat cursed. But that's alright. That's what we're all here for. Don't know if it's too small though. I mean, that chest is massive. I think. So kind of like... I mean, it's sort of... There we go. I've actually got my touchpad working. I need to reset my what's his name? My tablet keys, my tablet buttons, because yeah, it would be very useful for keeping me sort of centered, I think, with this sort of thing. I guess as well, like I don't want to make him like I don't want to do him too skinny because I've always done that in the past and I'm not particularly skinny, so I don't think I should be ashamed of being a bit more body positive in my own work. Yeah, I like that sort of. Yeah. This is what tends to happen with me, is like my head's become super detailed and then my body has become a little bit abstract. I mean, not too much. And I need to have a proper look at it at some point. Just see. It'd also be very good if I had a few more like body references. Because I'm thinking of having like the arm just sort of coming down. Kind of a bit relaxed. Obviously not keeping it like this because this is just a bit rough. And probably a bit long. So I mean, if it's coming there, then you need to have that like there, I think. Excuse me, not the right reference. Oh yeah, then you want, I mean, that's kind of the reason why. Have that a little bit. So I'm just doing like cursed, rough, super rough posing. Just to kind of have a bit of a... I mean, the arms feel way too long. Either that or I'm having a bit of somewhat tunnel vision. I mean, it's been a bit over. No, I don't want to have a bit of a... God, it looks a bit cursed. Head-wise. So obviously I kind of want to do... Because I'm going to give him a bit of a jump, a bit of a cozy. Because I like the kind of cozy sort of look. I mean, I think it'd be a bit funny. I'm just gonna... So I'm gonna do sort of like... Because it's kind of like jumpery and then rolled up sleeves, which is something I do fairly often in life. In the horrific metaverse we call reality. To go through it, it's just all a bit messy and sketchy, and I probably should do like a rough and then a super rough layer. God, he's gonna have such an arrogant, I mean, kind of arrogant pose, but that's fine. That's fine. Right, actually have a look, because we have that as our sort of chest. Comes through a bit like that. So we've got that set on the volume for that. And then that's where we have volume on these bits. Gosh, I should really get more. I know, because I still like to do like kind of details at sketch stage as well, so that I can focus on lines a bit, but I don't want to do it too far. So we'll do it sort of like that, I think. Let's get some distractions out of the way. Yeah, I'm liking that. It feels quite natural, not too OTT. You get that sort of broad, shouldery kind of look. This is looking a bit big, a bit circular, but again, this is sketch. This is sketch. It's not final. I have to constantly remind myself that. As we're going through it, remember that sketching is... I like to think of... Also, I love doing... This is a bit of an odd thing. I do, but I love like getting things and then kind of taking it away. So kind of like doing a line and then erasing out of it, like sketching into the negative space, if that sort of makes sense. I think that it all kind of works. It works as a way of, just it's just a way. It's like I like to use it as an alternative way to sort of work things out rather than just doing things in a kind of pure, or what you think of as should be sort of the pure traditional kind of way of doing it. There we go. We've got some music back. We've got some tunes, as the kids would say. Tunes. So if I just get rid of that, as well, I like to just So if I just have it, so it's kind of like... It's sort of like this. Just thinking, when you have like your hand down at the bottom, also I could just bring... How would that look with it brought out a bit more? I think that's nice. I think that's looking... It's mostly acceptable. It's just where the hand then comes in. It's like when you have it on your sort of, oh, hello, Mr. Vokuman. It's lovely to have you here as well. Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing? Are you having a good evening as well? It's always appreciated. No, thank you so much for coming along. Oh, Voki. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. No, it's great to have you along, Voki. Thank you. But yeah. Oh, that is all good. I should do a camel character at some point. I think that would be very fun. I guess kind of what I would want to make sure I'm doing. Well, it's sort of like with that kind of character, because it's associated with sort of like certain bits of Mr. Vokuman is my dad. That's fair enough. I'll keep that in mind, no problem. But like, I think like a camel character would be interesting to do, but you don't want to lean too much into stereotype, like, or at least be. I mean, try and find the right balance in terms of like how you style the character, in terms of, you know, what kind of clothing you're wearing, because you don't want to get into a point of appropriating others' culture when you don't have much of an understanding of it. Okay, that's interesting. Let's do a little bit of a zoomed out perspective and double check. Aha, yes, I do feel, yes, your torso is a little bit big. Let's do some cosmetic surgery on that. Let's make sure, God, if only it was this easy to, like, if you want to be a bit taller, just get it sorted. If you want to be a bit shorter, get it sorted. Yeah, just imagine if any kind of surgery was as simple as this, just yeeting it from one side of the page to another. Would they have humps? That's also like an anthropomorphic camel. I mean, I think it's kind of like you have, well, I feel like I'm stepping into slightly dangerous territory because, okay, yeah, that's right. I mean, at some point, how much you're characterizing it, how much you're cartoonifying it, because also the other danger there is how, like, I'm also thinking in terms of like people with, you know, for instance, hunchbacks, like, you could very easily, if you're doing it in the wrong way, you could easily make it insulting to people with that, as well as, you know, mocking people from other cultures. I feel, again, it's like, but it's another species. I mean, not that I think that they're underrepresented, but there are definitely some species where it's they'd be quite interesting to do as characters, as sonas, but you just don't see enough of, in my opinion. And the humps have been practical. Yeah, it would. I mean, that's the main point. But it's kind of like if you're doing something a bit like very cartoony, more funny animal level, like Oh, I was actually trying to remember the name of this when you were drawing an elephant on stream, Smokey. It was sort of like this wholesome kind of cartoon you had. Baba. However, yeah, so it's like when you were, let me get the window. Let me get the window so it behaves. So when you were doing your tap dancing elephant on stream, I was just going to say, like, the first thing I thought of, Smokey, was Baba with it, because you did it in that kind of, sort of that style. Yeah, very much. This sort of style with the little tucks and stuff. It's one of these things, yes. I mean, it's one of them. I distinctly remember, like, the character design. I cannot for the life of me remember if I watched it that much, what any of the characters were like, anything that particularly happened. But just that, the shape and the colour, it just unlocks a specific memory. So I know I must have been exposed to it. I think we all were around our sort of, us, all of us on the verging cusp between millennial and Zoomer. I mean, I kind of feel I'm somewhat in between because, well, I'm not really in between. I'm very much millennial in terms of actual age, but kind of culturally being terminally online. I feel that I am somewhat not fully in with the kids. I mean, if I actually had like apprentices or stuff at work, or if I was doing anything related to children, I would realise very shortly how I'm kind of digging that. I'm kind of digging the whole. I'm not quite sure what this hand is doing. That hand. Probably what I want to do. But I'm kind of digging this sort of like chilled sort of slob vibe. Not fully slob, but... And I feel like it would make sense to have like... So kind of like even... Well... So it's sort of like... I guess that kind of thing. I feel like as well, because I'm an engineer, I should be better at drawing hands for some reason. And you've got it kind of cusped. But I kind of wonder if you'd have it sitting... What side of the body you'd have it sort of sitting, like whether it be in front or behind. I guess that's just one of the things I'm sort of kind of struggling a bit with this. And I feel like the legs are a bit skinny. I feel like the legs are a bit odd, and I mean, certainly this is kind of turning into one of my usual sort of sketches where my heads are super detailed, but I will go in and I'll refine the body as I go along. So I'm thinking like something like that, but obviously with like that's the other bit. My body's now feeling a bit odd and podge, and that leg does not work at all. I think what I need to do with that one is definitely like come along, straighten it up. I mean, it's nowhere near done, but it's just blighting. It's just blighting me. It feels very odd, kind of looking at it like that. I probably need to just quickly grab a reference. Because I'm kind of feeling the vibe of this, but it is something that's a bit wrong. Something that's a bit wrong at the moment. Doesn't feel quite right. Probably I'm best looking at actually going to Google Images and actually doing the search there. Or maybe I do need to just take a step back, or maybe focus on something else. Like, not chubby man. I mean, not too extreme with that, I guess. When it's kind of yeah, I don't like the. Well, obviously this isn't an actual working physical crotch. Yeah. Hey, I think that's already making life a bit better. Somewhat, I guess. Then probably feet need to be a bit bigger as we go through this. Or maybe all that leggy needs to be a bit thinner as well. Because I think probably his hips are a bit too wide. As we're going through it, it's just something that feels a bit off with all of this today. I mean, it's been a bit too long since I've last done something in like my usualish kind of style. But I digress. I also sometimes I really vary as well with my sketching, because sometimes, like with my face, I'll do it neatly, and then sometimes like this I will just end up going absolutely to town in terms of my craziness. I need to stop doing this because it then makes it awkward to see what's working, because, as I think I've said, it creates imaginary lines that, so you're not seeing the picture itself. It kind of looks and feels better when you have all these, you know, all these lines just coming across and doing whatever they want. But we need to actually think about what the hand itself is doing. It was very much this kind of like rough sort of style that got the ire of my art teacher, because she wanted things very clean lines, clean body, clear mind, that kind of thing. But then it was like clear lines, clear existence, something like that. Probably what I need to do, because it's sort of like I think I probably need to do like another layer on top of for the body to a similar level with that, with the actual head. And then kind of what I'm planning on doing is like back, other posy bits I might do a bit later, but I think I might do a bit of procrastination and kind of work out an antler style, all of this. Excuse me. So what do I actually do? Oh my god, this is Sketchception, somewhat. I mean, this will be just like I mean, this isn't actually going to have like the head itself. I might do like the patterns, like the way that the colours come together as well. But the main thing for this bit is to actually have an antler design. And so what I need to do is, after I've applied my transformations, like a sensible person would, I then need to grab my antler references, probably resize them. Yes, I do have a bit of garbage on that layer. That needs to disappear. God, I would just love like a feature that just lets you like, I don't know, like instead of having like references as parts on the canvas that come up in scale with it, it'd be lovely to have them as kind of like your references as sort of like a layer on top that doesn't quite exist in the same sort of universe. Just as you sort of put things together, you know, like as you zoom in, it just kind of exists in its own void almost, like they're kind of overlays or something. So I've got that as kind of a face. What I even might do, so don't know what that layer is. That's like our mini wrap. Then I'm gonna do, because I actually want to work out a proper geometry for my antlers. Oh god, my antlers. Jesus Christ, I slightly, I don't know. I don't know. It's still that kind of, I kind of find it funny, Spilky, sort of the other day when you kind of said, you know, declaring yourself as a furry is like a badge of honor these days, and kind of in actuality, I still feel a lot of the like the kind of covering up, embarrassment, that sort of thing as I go through it, and I'm still trying to just unteach myself all of that and just embrace how I am. I mean, that's always the best way of just generally existing in this world, but it's just taking a bit of time to kind of unlearn that, so I still catch myself with little bits like that. Oh, thank you very much, Voki. That's very kind. Always super kind. I mean, I like this as kind of, so again, keeping it all within like sketchy bounds. Thank you. I will try my very hardest. I will try my very best, because it's very much like, you know, that has like, I kind of nailed it on the like the overall sort of silhouette in terms of like it bends and it goes backwards, in terms of these kind of things when you kind of have like in terms of the shape that you get as they come around. In fact, one of the things I might try and do, also I kind of surprised myself when I just double check on sort of screens, like how far out I end up zooming when I'm drawing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's, I mean, if I'm being harsh on myself, it's probably an instinctive way of, oh, it looks all right from a distance when it needs a lot of clean up. But the other hand, I draw tiny. I think I just naturally draw tiny. I need to remember to draw reasonably large. But as well, the good thing about drawing tiny is that you can get away, like I'm using a Huion 13, which is relatively small. But the good thing about that is that I'm not then reliant on, say, a 24-inch screen tablet, because you're going from like a couple £100 to thousands, something like that, something utterly ridiculous along those levels, as you go into it. I'm just looking up to see whether I can do like a mirror modifier, because like the antler reference, I wouldn't mind it being a bit more, it's not going to be an actual like expressive face, something like that. It's just a like an abstract kind of thing. So I don't mind it being a bit more geometrical, and I don't mind it. I mean, literally, just to kind of sort of sketch out, because I have those sort of odd sort of, you know, what I'm sort of envisioning is just, you know, you have like the face is just sort of like color patterns sort of show where things go, but then the emphasis is the actual, and not that I'm going to be stringent about geometry, because I just feel like that's, you know, it's asking people, you know, like potential artists who you might commission, something like that. It's asking too much of them. To be like, no, you must get this right, you must get this perfect. I just, you know, I mean, honestly, if you just do them as like twigs like that, I'm absolutely happy. In fact, I feel like we should normalize, because like actual deer, they only have their antlers at certain seasons in the year. So during the autumn, they're at their peak because it's like the rutting season. They use them to, you know, battle each other to get control over groups of hinds and such. They grow, they shed them in winter, and then they grow them part by part over like the summer and such. So for a good chunk of the year, like male deer don't actually have antlers, or they have very small ones. And so I think it's probably a cool thing to have a bit more in art, where you're not just constant, you know, where you actually think about the seasonality of them, and also just doing more art where it's like either they're growing or, I mean, I kind of had like, you know, like how you deal with things like shedding or such. I'm also just realizing, yes, the fuzzy antlers, yes, that's something I think should also be shown. I guess because I'm just realizing I've done a bit of a contradiction, most likely, in terms of, because I feel like the most sensible thing for like an antlered character to wear would be, you know, a buttoned shirt, because you can actually, because kind of like something like a t-shirt, you're not going to get that over antlers without breaking. Oh, I guess the way that you kind of do that is you make it into, I mean, this might be a bit, oh god, I'm on the wrong layer. Hang on. I mean, would it be a bit too thirsty if I did like it's a kind of like a jumper where you have like a big collar, and when your t-shirts are only allowed after shedding the antlers, true. I mean, this is a jumper, but what I'm thinking is like, you know, sort of one where it's kind of like a large, it's like a large neck bit, so that you can sort of pick it and stretch it over everything as you're taking it on or off. But yeah, as well, there's just like a ton of art which just shows them in like a normal t-shirt, and it's like, it's not going to physically work, but I mean, a lot of art you don't get as far as thinking about how the character would work with clothes on, so to say. But I'm not judging. It's just one of these sort of things. Oh dear. Yes, I'm just coming back and adjusting things when I should be doing something else. But I mean, is it a bit too stereotypical? Is it starting to get into cultural bits? I don't know. Anyway, what was I doing? I was doing antlers. So, and what I was actually doing was trying to work out how to do a custom mirror line. Not for the whole thing, just for this little antler bit. Oh god, what layer have I done that on? Okay. That's fine. I mean, I like the cozy jump. I love like that cozy jumper look, but I feel practically like if my character were to exist in some sort of sense, it would have to be Ace! Brilliant. Perfect. Right, this is exactly what I was looking for. I might do it with the tulip pen. I need to actually properly look into my Clip Studio pens. But I kind of want to do this like as a geometric thing. And so the geometric thing will have symmetry for days. So then well, it's not all exactly symmetrical, but we are getting there, lads. Yeah, and we have like a little bit of a point into. I love drawing the ears. I don't know why, they just have like a really pleasant shape, and you can just make them like really expressive, pretty much as expressive as you'd like. So they have turned into a bit more horny. I'm so fucking cursed. They have turned a bit horny, but so kind of like what we'll first do is just kind of like as you come through onto this sort of side, it'll come through and merge together. So we can have like a bit of a gap like that. I mean, do I want to still have that sort of... Let's have a think, because it's like you have the main ones and then each of those bits have stuff which come off them. But then you don't want them turning too much into trees. And I think restricting like the number of times that my character has, one is a bit more realistic in terms of the actual character himself, because it's a separate character to myself, but it's kind of like you associate like a stag with more tines as being more masculine, and that's just not completely wrong for me. So I think fewer tines would kind of well, but he's still a lad, still a bit of a lad, kind of. I mean, not like a lad's lad, but like still somewhat, you know, we're not exactly sort of prudish or very, well, it's not too like outwardly kind of masculine, but sort of emotionally, personality wise, a bit more fluid, I guess. But I need as well, so I've got that. I wish that the ruler worked with the eraser as well, because that would make things a bit easier for all of this as we put it all together. I don't think I like that as much. That's okay. Because I did have, in that version, I did have that kind of thing coming around. I mean, the head looks a bit, I mean, it's a bit gazelle-y, yeah, because it's only two sort of prongs. What about this prongy boy here? Probably... I could be really, well, it's not especially cursed. It just feels somewhat cliche to go to Glen of Monarch. I mean, that's kind of like the quintessential Red Deer image. It's just that sort of, you know, if you go to any kind of like Scottish holiday home or tourist place, you'll see, yes, you'll see this particular cheeky chappy. Those antlers aren't that good, but it's a beautiful painting. I wish I could paint stuff like that, but it's just like the quintessential form of it. And I guess it kind of came through like that. Probably needs something to come up that's a bit wider. Or maybe the whole thing needs to be wider. But then if it's too wide, then it's impractical for the actual character himself. Guess what I probably ought to have done on this section is have a side view, which I'll probably do in a second as we go through it. Yes, has anyone got any other good plans for this evening? Apart from discussing anthropomorphic animals with myself. You know what I probably need? I probably need like something like that to come along. Again, like I don't want to make them too big. Or too thingy as we go through it. Have a look. Guess that works as a starting point. So then I've got that. And get rid of that little cheeky chappy there. I mean, it probably does mess up like my so kind of like how this would work. I guess from this sort of angle. Kind of like that. Oh, you know what I might do? Well, I mean, hopefully it should be a bit more obvious once I actually put it together. So it's very much like one thing I could do with the reference itself. So just sort of like marking, like, you know, what you have in the front view, and you could do it with these funny little like funny little, a bit like kind of, imagine if you actually have like caps for your tines, you know, if you're going, say if you're going on a bouncy castle, or if you're going on an airplane and you have to wear like rubber tips on top to prevent like I think I'll get myself a actual side view of some antlers. As well, I'm just doing this so that I'm like cleansing my palette of the main pose so that I can come into it and actually look at it a bit more objectively to try and finish off the sketch as we go through it. There we go. So I found another cheeky chappy that I can add. Yeah, I've done that as a couple of layers. So let's get rid of that one. Get this one. Bring that cheeky chappy over. Pop them into my references. So yeah, we've kind of got that kind of like coming through sort of shape. I mean, it doesn't quite come like backwards in terms of that sense. I mean, it depends on sort of on each of them. So you have kind of as these things come together, you have like this one, which will be I'm on the wrong layer. I'm on the wrong layer. Just like I'm in my mum's car. Brum, brum. Get out my car. No. God, I love Vine. I miss it. I miss it every day. So it's kind of like you have those sort of shapes as we come through. And I guess it's how it sort of makes sense. They are horrific 3D objects. I probably ought, I probably ought to have done this in twice dimensions instead of as a flat drawing to begin with. But heyo, you can't change things, can you? Yeah, I think it'll be that sort of shape. So it's very much like this will be behind. And yeah, just to actually get like a bit of a, yeah. So it's like that, like that. And then you have this cheeky chappy. Let's go purple. I like the idea of that, like having different coloured antler caps on. Something like that, like rubber things that you put on your antlers to try and disguise them. It doesn't look as good on the side view, but I think red deer ones do look a bit odd in their like side views. I guess like the thing to maybe add and again it'll feel a bit too much in this view. Maybe you just have some, I've gone completely wrong colour, but you have something maybe that comes out like that. I know, it just feels a bit, but then again, I don't often do things in a full-on sort of side view, so I think I might leave this as it's sort of, well, it's rough sketches as we put them together. I don't think that's looking too bad. As we're looking at it, I think actually proportionally it's sort of working. I'm in me sketch layer, brum brum. Yeah. Yeah, as it kind of comes together. And so that's kind of front sketch. Obviously I need to add these on top. Tell you what I'll do. So I'm just thinking about what because I'm in me mum's. Yeah, let's make that. It is very much a thing I want to make into a thing. I'm gonna give this a separate. I have no idea what that layer is. I'm just gonna hide it, and then if we don't need it, then it'll be yeeted into somewhere else. I feel like that head. It's also funny that the head just feels like it's its own sort of. I mean, essentially is its own drawing, but hey up. Front sketch. Center it a bit more. And as we look at it like this. Don't mind him slouching a bit, but I feel like this should be. This bit feels a bit odd when it's flipped like that. Oh, I made that separate layer for a reason. I made that separate layer for a particular reason, and that was to actually start to like block it out and sort of see how it looks proportionally, because that's the other thing. I'm not as, I mean, they're fairly compact how I've done them. One of the issues I find with antlers is it then makes like framing a shot awkward, and it's kind of like, you know, do you it's like, do you cut off the antlers or not? Are they part of the head? Just one of those sort of things as you do it, because it does add like an odd element to your, but actually having like at least some kind of guide for them, like compared to how I used to do it, and that's very much like the point of having the reference. It just makes it so much easier to try and work them out. If you have like, you know, a bit of a reference for that particular thing, the easiest thing to help work it out would be a 3D model, which I'll probably make that on a stream at some point and just show you all how cursed my Blender stuff is. But I do desperately, I desperately need to nip to the loo, so. Hello friends, I'm back. Let me just get myself back onto the right display. I only just caught your comment, Voki. I had a weird thought. Do anthrodeer have antler braces when sleeping so they don't grow too wide? I mean, maybe. As well, sleeping is it seems to be somewhat of an unfortunate situation. Just imagining how, because you sort of like, you have your head on the pillow, and then if you have like a bed frame, then it just that's another sort of thing. Is it all? I mean, it wouldn't quite work like that. I think, is that why I'm sleepy? Yes, because I cannot. I have no way of being. But in reality, I'm just exhausted. Everything is just exhausting. Oh no, that's no worries. Thank you very much, Smokey. It's just lovely to have you, anyways. Chicken nugget actually makes fun of me about sleeping horns last week. Yes. And I think the solution to that was just taking them off to sleep. And I'm just thinking, maybe that's what you just have to do practically. But then it's kind of like if you... Oh, that's what that needed. It needed either a bit of shade, a bit of shadow, just sort of solving that. But yeah, you just have to have... practically, you just have to have detachable antlers, which is a bit weird to think about, but I mean, that's sort of the weirdest thing that could be detachable. But anyway, yeah, I think there's a lot of odd... Oh, I tell you what you probably need to do. You probably need... So kind of like... You can't really have like a bed board. You'd have sort of like a pillow. Have your stuff go through. And then something like a... like a set of almost like stands or like coffee tables. So let me show you the sort of stands I'm thinking of. So you'd probably have to have like these kind of things. So kind of like a headless bed, and then a couple of these to just sort of like hold the weight of the antlers while you're sort of lying and resting. Either that, or you'd be sleeping on your you'd be sleeping sort of on your side, on your front, on your kind of, not quite on your belly, but as close to as you can, because in reality they sort of sleep like well, that's how they do it in reality. So it's very much sort of like kind of like that. So yeah, I think pretty much all Anthrodia would be super soft memory foam just for the head, or rather the antlers. Yes, that's another way of doing it. But I assume you'd kind of have to just, all of them would either be front sleepers or kind of to the side sort of sleepers. It's rather fun, all these bizarre and interesting accommodations we have to do to make our characters actually somewhat work in reality. So what I think I will do next, even though there's a lot of things that like the front view desperately needs to finish itself off and to get itself sorted, is I'm going to probably start. So if I just hide my antler sketch for now and do a quick Control S just to make sure that we are not entering oblivion. Yeah, just to make sure we're not entering too much oblivion. I mean, I guess a back view is useful, but it's not the be all and end all. You're here for the face, hopefully. Mostly. Not really. But it's still useful to have a back view, I think. And plus it's more kind of there to sort of say, yes, like whether or not you do have a tail or not, which I think I generally do. I generally give my Anthro characters tails. It's a bit of an odd quirk, I know, but I just kind of feel a bit odd without them. I don't know, I've realised I've probably forgotten how to do ears from the back. But I do like that because it's like a sort of slumping kind of look. It's fairly expressive. So kind of like the arm sort of went there, and the way I had it is it's very much like the hand comes through like that. So then sort of like I need to hide. Yeah, so I can kind of see a bit more what's going on. And I also need to sketch. I'm afraid it's probably just going to be like a sketchy stream. I'm probably not going to get. I mean, I'll probably do like a block checking color just to make sure that everything is working proportionally, like I do towards the end. But I don't think I'm really going to be getting. Realistically, I don't think I'm going to be getting to lines and such today. So it's kind of on your hip. This is the leggy that's coming outwards like that. This is the one that comes down together. I just want to constantly keep working and nitpicking on these sort of bits, but ayo, let's go. We have an arse. Not too much of an arse, or else I'll get yeeted by the Twitter. By the Twitch. By Twitch itself. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something a bit embarrassing. I'm just looking up from back view just to help with. So that is gonna be. It's just to help with the ears. Oh my god, that is such a cute emote, Voki. I love that. Yes. Dear cheeks for days, why not? But yes. I mean, it's not exactly the same sort of angle, but it just helps me a bit with trying to get these to kind of work. At least it gives me that sort of low reassurance. But what I'm doing is somewhat rooted in reality. Oh, I want to keep. I keep seeing things that I want to just change on that side, but I can't. Not yet. So it's like that hand obviously goes around to the front in this sort of pose. Might go back to the pen to get a bit more of a defined, like, sketchy feel over this sort of sketchy stuff. But I feel like then our hand just comes through. Except would I? Yeah, you wouldn't really. Yeah, you probably. Because it feels like it kind of or maybe if it's like. Really on the side. I'm very glad to hear you're that well prepared, Voki. It's at some point I'll be challenging you probably on. Do you have an emote for every situation? Have you got an emote for man eating his own head and being insufferable, sort of like that? I'll spare it for now, but it's just a thought. But yeah, at some point I'll probably just challenge in terms of do you actually? But what about this situation? But what about that one? So I think kind of. I mean, I could probably I'm just posing this in front of myself. So it's like, oh, I'm relaxing down like that. But I think maybe what I need to do to actually have this make sense, and that's also the great thing about doing a back bit, is it just lets you work out whether what you're doing is making any sort of sense. It's dead handy. Dead handy, this sort of thing. Oh, that's a bit of a... He's had his wrist broken in several places. He's had it jellified like Harry Potter. I mean, that's like... Oh, no worries. Thank you very much for joining, Voki. It's really appreciated. It's been a ton of fun. Have a really good night. And hopefully see you around at some point soon. I'm probably not going to be joining Smilky's stream tomorrow because I have to be in the office. Begrudgingly. Oh, yeah, that does not work like that. Hands, how do they work? That's all coming together. That's all coming together. Yes, he does in fact have a tail. Yes, there's like a tiny little part of his jeans. Oh god, no! Now when I'm looking at it, I've been doing that on the front. That's not canon for that part. Yes. I need to delete some of these layers because we are making quite no? Oh, was that done on front antler? No, that wasn't, thank goodness. But then that little sketch was. And then, which is... Oh yeah, that was that other little fun sketch. This is what happens when I don't name my layers. I get very, very sad and cross. And, but yeah, we'll get there with it. I'll get there with it, I mean. So it's sort of like... You can see all of my cursed... Yeah. So it's sort of like as you put it together. I should just make any layer that I'm not directly working on visible. Hang on, I probably need... Probably need to go and find some actual reference for a hand on the head. Do I want it on the head? Yeah, I mean, that would probably solve a lot of my issues. I mean, it's not quite. It needs to sort of come back a little bit. Margaret, we're changing the pose again. Oh, no, actually, cause... close-ish, but so that kind of works for the kind of almost. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say that I want to like reduce how much I'm using of these sorts of things. I do not want to rotate the canvas. Thank you very much, Lee. Okay, all of that is feeling a bit weird now where the armpit is and stuff. I think I might be fiddling with it a bit too much. Yeah, so you have like your chest coming out from there. Oh yeah, and that's where the body would come and start to interact a bit more. Because it needs to kind of curve a bit behind. This is what makes me think far too hard and makes me feel quite self-conscious. No. Yeah, this is where my that hand is at the wrong angle. Maybe I need a new set of eyes on this. Oh, it's somehow too short. And the legs are too short. And that shoulder needs to come out a bit more on the other side. And it all feels like it's going to topple over at some point, which is extremely cursed. Not the best. What are you going to do about, well, his little stubby legs, which were kind of cute at a point, but now not very not particularly poggers. So I definitely did mess up the whole like. I'm struggling to tell if this looks alright. It's probably a sign that I need to stop somewhat soonish. I'm not going to emphasize anything on the bulge quite yet because I don't particularly want to quite yet. And then there'll be jeans and stuff like that. It looks a bit too much like, yes, I'm rubbing my hand into my crotch. Not into my crotch, but get into the thigh. So it's kind of like this bit is meant to be like, keep it there, keep it relaxed. Oh, you know what I could do? Just cheat it. Why not? Why bloody not? Just gonna be a filthy cheater. Probably the thumb would be a bit more like that, so then the whole thing would be a bit more like that. So does it make sense to have like, okay, so when I put it in like that, we see a bit more of the okay. So kind of like if you've got your hand sitting on your thigh like that. So let's try and solve this. So I could actually end the stream on a good note and feel like, yes, I've been productive. I mean, it's not always about being productive, but it's nice when it feels like what you're doing isn't too utterly terrible. Just feels a bit odd somehow. I don't know why. Maybe the arm is a bit too thick. And it feels too straight. I mean, I think this line around the chest is not helping me. Really makes sense to my little brain. Well, I mean, you can't have like are we going back in circles? Oh yeah, well this shoulder needed a bit of adjustment anyway. Because certainly when flipped it felt a bit odd. Oh, this is feeling not going very well. That's a bit too high. See, I need to just emphasize that it's like, so if it's like coming down like this, I mean, that's where elbow is on this side and it's kind of keeping it. So it's sort of like on this side, it's going down like that. Sorry, I'm getting quite quiet because I'm getting a bit annoyed. Well, not annoyed, but just I feel like there's big problems that I really need to try and solve somehow with this. I'll just get rid of the texture for now. So it's very much like you've got your hand coming down and then yeah, that works for our glove. Glove hand, and when you put it down like that. So we still need a bit of like shoulder definition, but it's obvious that it's going down. So it's like, yeah, this arm is going up. Would it make more sense for the hands to be the other way around? So like that one going into the pocket. Because when I put it in my pocket, yeah, I think probably big fundamental rethinks. What I'll do. Just make a copy, just in case I do all of this and it's for nothing. It just feels like there's a problem with a lot of it. So it's like, yeah, holding it up, putting it down. I mean, I feel like that works for solving some of that sort of issue, like the positioning of like the bottom of the sweater there. Yeah, that all makes a lot more sense. I definitely need to do a life drawing class, something like that. I'm so sorry having to see me struggle so much with anatomy, but heyo. Yeah, I mean, it is showing that I am out of practice with this sort of thing. Yeah, that's working a lot better now, I think. All this kind of problem solving. I'm going to go a bit longer than 9. Not massively, but just a tiny bit. Excuse me, apologies for the excessive and very quickly we have finally solved the issue, and then this one can actually start to, yep, you can go away from the back layer because we don't want you there. Isn't it funny about how quickly things can change and come together? But that has made my, yeah. So it's sort of like, yeah, you have like the, so it's like, yeah. So it's like that, there's a big scribble on it. But no, it's sort of like getting the pose done properly, having it kind of come round. And then that comes down like that. Sort of. As we put it down, and then you see at least some of the back of the hand like that. So let's just get rid of some of this muck, except it's not quite working out quite like that, but hey ho, here we go. So it's like that, kind of. I think that's putting me off. Like how the back and the bum are coming together. Probably a bit more back. And also the back is not going to be, back's going to be a bit like that. Curved. That's the word you're looking for. Yeah, no, absolutely. Just a one of these things. Just a one of these things. And probably that, how that is coming together is putting me off a bit. How it all kind of oddly curves and the like. God, it comes. My character's giving off such complete dead vibes. Except somehow I've also realised, oh my god, it means that I'm completely ignoring. You don't see any hands. And it's a ref sheet. I think on the front sketch, we are going to have to do it. Yeah, we are going to have to. Yeah, I'm sorry. You cannot get away with a front. It's looking alright. It's looking like a sort of natural position you put it in. But I just kind of think, you know, like doing a reference sheet with absolutely no hands. I'm sorry, it's taking the mick a little bit. And you're defeating some of the point of it. And those leggies again feel a bit, or maybe, just maybe, you kind of, sort of, maybe, perhaps. I don't know, just the legs still feel a bit off. And I'm not sure if it's a case of the legs are too short or the body is too big. That's realistically, that's a problem I have to deal with IRL as well. But no, I think, getting a bit of shade, even at this stage. Yeah, that's kind of working. I mean, I probably could do that even. Adding more to that is verging on uncomfortable territory. Maybe a little bit. Ah. We are very close. Yeah, just when it comes through. Just double check. Let me just double check something in terms of proportions. I think the legs are still a bit too short, genuinely, and we're running out of room on the canvas. I feel like the torso's alright, but I feel like the leg's too short, so we're going to have to shrink the whole thing down a little bit. And then I'm going to have to deal with the antlers at a different stage, but that's okay. It's one of these things. Yes. So it's kind of like... come on. Ah, so I've not got colour. So... drawing on the wrong layers. Yeah, that's where the hand will be starting to come along and curve in, and it's a straight one. And I think that's fine. I think that will be... I mean, it's not exactly a fluttering shape, but it's a bit more... It's a bit more me. It's a bit more grounded. God, I'm constantly second guessing myself in regards to these bits, but oh well. Never mind. I think... I mean, we'll get there eventually with all of this. Oh, so that's all on the wrong layer, which is fine. But what I need to do as well is when I'm working on other things, keep the layer visible but lock it so that I can't... I mean, I can, which actually that does not help. Locking the layer. It would help if, like, you could lock. It would not work when you put it into these different dimensions, but it seems to be. It seems to not quite be doing that. Yeah, looking at it at that angle. I'm not sure what leg will be in front, to be honest. Also, I'm kind of wondering if that head is a bit too small, but we will see as we go through. As I get towards actually somewhat finishing all of it. Yeah, because we've been yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just really not happy with this back one. For some reason. That doesn't help. I keep going to different layers. I think probably it's a sign I'm getting a little bit tired and I probably ought to have a break, probably come away from this and then come back to it another day. But it's been quite fun actually, just getting back into doing a bit of proper art again. It's been quite nice. I know I've got there's a lot I need to work on in general, but still, it's just nice having practice. And the company as well, like, thank you so much, Voki and Smokey, for joining. It's really appreciated. It's really kind of you guys to do that, because it does make it, well, it just makes it a bit nicer just having a little bit of company, just a little bit of back and forth to chat with as we go through it. So thank you both so much as well. Thank you for everyone who's been coming along and joining. It's been really lovely. And yeah, I think probably the next day I'm going to be able to stream will be Sunday. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get much time to work on this in between then, but that's all right. That's just one of these things. I think next time either I might work on this a bit more, work on something else, or I might play some mini motorways, which would be quite fun. But thank you all so much for joining. It's really kind of you, and hopefully I will see you all soon.